Would you like to become a Fenrisian Wolf? Hiya, welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul, and today I thought it'd be really fun if we paint one of these Fenrisian Wolves from the Space Wolves box, but a little bit different because nothing here is normal. So I've actually got this little dog here. Her name's Mabel. She is the light of my life, and I love her. And I thought it would be really fun to paint this wolf as closely to Mabel as possible. So this little creature here has got all sorts of little features and individual markings and stuff that I thought would be fun to take and then put on the Fenrisian Wolf. So what we'll do in this video is we'll paint this guy up, probably the normal like brown kind of fur, like I'm thinking Skeleton Horde or something, and then try and interweave some of her little details to replicate her in the wolf. So for example, she's got like these black ears, she's got we can see a little white beard, and you might be able to see on her chest, if I hold her like a baby, she's got like a little white patch here, and then on her tail as well, she's got like some stripes, she's got like a black stripe, and a little white bit. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun in this video to take this Fenrisian Wolf, paint him up kind of wolfy like normal, like the brown undercoat, kind of similar to her fur, but then add all the little features and details that she's got and see if we can replicate her in miniature fashion. So this guy's all primed up with a ghoul grey, so let's just get straight into the painting. So just to kick off the base layout, I'm going to put down 2 thin coats of Skeleton Horde. I've thinned this out a little bit with some Larnian medium as well, just to sort of thin it out so it's not too heavy. But yep, going to apply this as a base coat and then going to work on some of the darker sections and details. So that's just one layer of Skeleton Horde applied. I do want to do a second one, but before we do that, I'm just going to go over the running order. So with Mabel, what we've got here is she's got this nice kind of like brown undercoat. Kind of see here, yeah, this is going to be like her Skeleton Horde, just the sort of undercoat base layer she's got. But then just around the point on her back where like her legs, front legs reach, you can kind of see it better in this picture. It's kind of like just here. It kind of stops being a light brown and becomes like almost black and greyish, in like a straight line that leads up and a weird little strip down her head, and then either side of that strip on her head is a little bit darker than the rest of her body. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply the second layer of Skeleton Horde, and then while that's still wet, we're going to do a little bit of wet blending similar to what we did on the head taker. So with the wet Skeleton Horde, we're going to take, I think, Black Templar, just like I mentioned, just kind of here where the front legs reach, and probably about here. We're going to start painting this up Black Templar to kind of match this weird little black patch she's got on the back. And I'm also going to do a teeny tiny line of it along the top, just to do that dark sort of head area as well. Although actually, maybe we'll go just to here and do, yeah, actually tell you what I'll do, sorry. We'll stick with the Black Templar wet blending on here, but also on the top of the head, we're going to do some Reikland Fleshshade, just because it's a bit of a darker brown to match this sort of like weird dark brown patch she's got on the top of her head. Because yeah, you can see kind of the back here, it's like a light brown, then a black patch, and then darker brown on the head. So I won't bother including the second layer of Skeleton Horde because you've already seen one that's a bit boring. So I'll snap my fingers and then the second layer of Skeleton Horde will be applied, and then we can start wet blending. Cool, so it looks like an absolute wet, blobby mess at the minute, but we'll leave this to dry for like, honestly, probably about 20 minutes, half an hour, just because I had the same on the head taker. It looked like a big, slobbery, wet, horrible mess. But once it dried, it actually looked alright. So, like I mentioned, just leave this for a little bit and then see how it looks. Sweet, so that's, the fur is mostly dry. There's still some bit on the back that I kind of added on just to kind of darken it down, but that's looking quite cool. I mean, it's a little bit, it's like a straight line to kind of see where it ends and where it begins. It's looking a teeny tiny bit flat, but I think that might kind of buffer out a bit when we have some highlights a little bit later on. But it's quite cool. Like, it looks a bit weird at first, like if you just look at it, like the markings, but like to me, like I kind of see it. I kind of see Mabel. It's quite funny. So next up, like I mentioned, I kind of wanted to do some highlights, like some dry brushing of some white, but I want to leave that till later just because it's still a little bit wet and there's some other stuff I want to do before that. So we're just gonna put some of the little details on, so like the black paws, the black nose, and she has got some black ears, so I want to paint those ears a little bit black as well. So we're going to get, actually I'm a bit torn, what do I want to use? I don't know if I want to use Abbadon black or like a contrast, like Basilicanum or Black Templar. Let's have a look. Tell you what, we'll use Abbadon black for the details like the paws, the claws and the nose. And then we'll try a contrast on the ears. I'll try Basilicanum grey, and then if that's not great, we can darken it down a little bit with the Black Templar. So yeah, Let's do that. So sticking with the theme of small little details, we're just going to do the gums above the teeth, Bugman's glow, and the teeth themselves, just a little Wraithbone. Just add some stuff to the mouth. Oh, also the tongue. Yeah, I'll use the tongue as Bugman's glow. Little midpoint update, and yeah, I'm feeling a lot better about this. I wasn't a massive fan of it when it was just the fur. I was like, oh, it's a bit rubbish and a bit blotchy and flat, and you can just see the separations, and it looks a bit weird, and I was like, this looks like it's going to be pants. But now that I've added the eyes, the gums, the teeth, the tongue, the little nose, like all the little kind of features on the face, it's coming together, you know? It really looks like something now. I do think the fur will also get better when I add the highlights. I want to do like a dry brush of white, and I also want to put some like Zandri dust maybe as well on the back. I think that'll really like step it up. But for now, it's just a little bit flat. But I know it'll get there, so it's okay. But next up, there's a couple like features underneath that I want to do down here, down there. She's got, where is she? There you are. She has got a little white patch on her belly. Look at that, just there. It's very like iconic, very Mabel. That's what we know her for. So I want to give you a little white patch and your little pink belly, look at that, hey! So, this wolf has actually got like a little, it's hard to see and it's going to be hard to see on camera. I mean, I'll show it off in the next shot because it's what we're going to do next. But it's got a little flat belly and there's a chest area here, just in between the paws. I kind of wish it was a little bit more open because it'd be easier to make white. But, what do you think? We're going to do that next. So we're going to do sort of the belly section and then, what else have you got? I've done your ears, I've done your nose. It's got the face. I'm a bit... Yeah, the face is going to be a weird one because she's got this little beard on her. Look, just, oh, you can see right there. Look, this little white beard. But this wolf doesn't really have any hair around its mouth. It's just kind of the mane. So what I might do is this sort of hair that goes down to the side, I might paint white as if it was the beard. And then you've got a strip on your tail of black. So let's do that. What's the back of her legs as well? One other thing I've noticed, yeah, this thing's got like some fur on the back of its legs, which is good because so is Mabel. Like on the back. So what colour is the fur on the back of your legs? Let's have a look. There's a little bit of white, a little bit lighter. So yeah, maybe a Zandri dust as well. Maybe we'll keep your legs skeleton Horde and the back of your legs Zandri dust, eh? So we've got a plan. Let's carry on, shall we? Next up, like we said, we're going to do a little belly. So I wonder if I can get in there with the brush. It's just this bit here. It's like a flat belly section, so I want to do that pink. And the only sort of pinky colour I've got is Bugman's glow, but it's a little bit too peachy and a little bit too bold. I want it a bit washed down. So I'm just going to mix in a teeny tiny bit of white, I think. Just try and like dull it down a little bit. You know what, it does actually kind of go up from her belly into her chest a little bit, so I'm just going to really, really water down some of that same colour and just kind of see if we can spatter it in the fur as well. So just like the same colour. Hopefully it sits under the fur, we stipple it in. Yeah, there we go. I think this is a perfect example of what I'm trying to do with this model, this pink belly, because it looks absolutely absurd and a little bit silly when you look at it like this. It doesn't look like a ferocious Fenrisian wolf, but I'm not trying to paint the most like lore accurate textbook Fenrisian wolf. This is definitely like a more of a personal project. Something when I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Mabel. I can see a little pink belly and a little black mane. So this is definitely a good example of how this is a real personal project for me, rather than like textbook, tabletop ready, stellar, intimidating, ferocious Fenrisian wolf. I ran out of adjectives to describe it. So there's only one feature really left before I want to start moving on to the highlights and like buffering out this fur and making it look a little bit more presentable. And that's her little face. So she's got this beard. You can see here, look at that. That is pure white, right coming from out of her nose, little beard, very Mabel. But the only issue is this model doesn't really have fur from the nose. It's just like straight nose to snout. Whereas Mabel's like got fur all around her nose. So I'm not really sure what the best approach is going to be. Whether I should paint the snout itself white and a little bit of the fur and the mouth, or just kind of treat this fur here as like a beard. I'm going to try a very thin layer of white around the snout and see how that goes. Could be my famous last words. So that's all of the little features I wanted to get done on her, and it does look a bit messy, I'm not going to lie. His face is interesting. I think, to be fair, actually, the only real massive issue is this chest was way too heavy. I think I didn't water down the paint enough. It's lost a little bit of the detail. I'm not sure if there's anything I could do to bring it back, but that's okay. Just a fun little thing. So what I want to do next is I want to do some highlights. I really want to dry brush some whites onto it because we go over these pictures of Mabel. Yeah, you can see she's got these random, like, really light spatterings of white across her fur. Like, all the way, all down the back here, you can see just random, like, spatterings of white. It's just all over her, and I don't know why she has it. Like, even you can see here a little bit, like, the back of her legs, the side here. There's that little white tuft that we've done. Way too heavy. But yeah, she has these kind of random spatterings of white all over. So what I want to do is dry brush some white highlights all over her. Well, not all over, but kind of on the top sections where I've done this black Templar and kind of towards the back, and also on the tail. So she's got this black strip on her tail, and it's also got some sort of white coming out from underneath, but I might do that highlights by hand because it's a lot more specific. So yeah, we might do some white dry brush highlights around this area, and then I'm going to go in with the brush and I think by hand just do some Zandri dust sort of highlights down here on each of the individual fur parts. We'll see how that goes. Okay, the dry brushing didn't actually do much, so I think what I'm actually going to do is just get the brush out and just paint these hairs by hand. Because there's not like that many of them, to be fair, and they're not all going to be white. So I'm just going to try and pick and choose a spattering of hairs to highlight as well. Like, I don't think I'm going to go over the entire chunk of hair, so like one of these, this is a bad example, but one of these hairs, I'm not going to paint the entire hair, I might just like highlight the hair itself, like an edge highlight. So let's give that a try. Oh, look at that, that does quite good. Like, even like Mabel scheme aside, just the white sort of highlights on top of the black. I like that. I might use that going forward just in general, like fur. So at least we got something out of this video, even if it isn't going to be a car crash. Oh, but no, it's good. A little bit, I think it would be a little bit too much over the skeleton horde if I wasn't doing like the whole Mabel thing. You know, this was just a standard Fenrisian Wolf. I'd just stick to the grey. So I want to do some Zandri dust highlights on some of the fur down here as well. I think actually, I say down here, kind of the midsection around here, and definitely here, just to add some more depth to it, because what I've seen some people do with Fenrisian Wolves. And yeah, my only criticism with this at the minute is it's just a little bit flat, there's not too much depth. So I might do some, so we'll do those Zandri dust highlights around here, and on the face probably a little bit as well. you know what, for the most part, I think this is actually done. Maybe I hide it so you don't see expose the look at the end, but no, what I've done with the base, I've just trapped on some Armageddon dust. I always put it down on the Space Wolf stuff, not for the colour, but just for texture. Because like if you grab a base, I've got one around here somewhere, they're just super flat. They're like literally two-dimensional. And if I put like some white and some snow on it, it's just a bit bland. So I like to put some Technical Armageddon dust just to give a little bit of texture to it. Then once that dries, I'll put some white scar over the top. Maybe some Corax white, because a little bit of an off-white, I'm not sure. One of these two. I'll paint it over the top, so it's kind of like a snow texture, and then I'll actually put some Technical Blizzard on the top of it as well. Because then we end up with something like this. So like you can kind of see, there's like a little bit of texture to it. This guy tried something on the back, a bit different, but you can see on the front, like he's got some like texture as a bump to it. I keep saying texture, but that's what I'm trying to get at. I put the base down, you can see this isn't like the brown from the dust at all. So yeah, we're going to do, it's the same as this on the wolf. But while that's drying, there's also some rocks at the back here. So I just want to paint these an Eshin grey, and then I'll dry brush or do some highlights of Celestra grey over the top. So just these for the rocks, give it some texture, and then we should be good to review, to be fair. Right, it's time to compare the two. How do you look compared to your little plastic counterpart? Here we are. Underneath this very mug is our own Fenrisian Mabel, my own little dog. Hey, look at that. That's not bad. Oh my god, it's kind of cool. Oh, do you know what? I actually really like this. I was a little bit hesitant at some point, so I was like, have I made a mistake? Like, what have I done? Like, I always have these grand ideas in my mind, like, oh, I'll do this and it'll be perfect and it'll be fun. Nothing will go wrong. It'll just be exactly how I imagine it. And they always kind of mess up a bit. And I thought like this was going to be one of them. Once I put just the fur on, and then I was looking at the details on what to put where, and I was like, oh god, what have I done? Like, this isn't what I imagined it to be. But now that I've finished it and I'm looking at it all done, actually, no, I love it. It's so, so good. Like, I can't speak for anyone watching this video, but like when I look at this, I see Mabel. Like, I see my dog. Probably because I stare at her for like 20 hours a day anyway. But like, I do see all of those little patterns and all those little markings that she has uniquely. I see on this, and I like associate it straight away. So like, I guess I'll put her to one side, and then we can try and put some pictures on this side so we can compare certain markings and details. I feel like the editing is going to do a heavy lifting in this one, but I guess if we start with her unique markings, and then we can talk about the wolf overall. So let me zoom into the face as well. So we'll start from the front. This face, do you know what? I actually really like it. It's actually my favourite part now. When I was painting it, I was so nervous because originally I was like, right, her little white beard she's got on her face, that's very unique to Mabel. That's like a very distinctive white bearded lady thing she's got going on that we absolutely love. So I was like, right, I want to do that definitely. That'll be easy, I'll just paint the fur around her mouth white. But then I realised when I looked at the model, it's just snout and jaw, and the fur doesn't start till back here. So I was like, oh god, what do I do? I was like, do you know what, I'll just try painting the snout and the jaw and that area around her mouth white. Even though there's no hair there, like, it's going to be white anyway. And when I put the white on, it was very like stark, like almost like a clown makeup, very like bold. And I was like, oh, this doesn't fit with the fur. So then I tried to blend a little bit of that black Templar we use in the fur, kind of wet blend it into the face as well, like that separation section between the white and the fur. I tried to like join it up with the black Templar, and I actually think it's turned out pretty good. Like that black outline kind of helps like soften the white on the face. I really, really like it. And then yeah, even like Mabel distinction aside, I do quite like this. Oh god, sorry about the blur. Yeah, even like the Mabel, the whole like my dog Mabel thing aside, the white sort of snout adds something a little bit extra to it, you know? Quite a cool little distinct marking that separates it from just being a big blob of like one colour. So I actually really like it. It's really good. Especially when you couple it with the teeth, the mouth, and especially that nose. I love that little black button nose. Like, look at that. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with the mouth actually. I actually think overall it's probably one of my favourite parts. Because like I said, it has that little Mabel aspect for me where I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's like Mabel's little white face. But it kind of looks quite cool on a wolf anyway, as like a unique marking. And then similarly, if we go back to the black ears, I was like, oh, she's got like very dark outside of her ears that flap over her face. That would be easy to do. That'd be great. Then this model, the ears are pointed up. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that dark part's going to be on the inside, so it won't be as prominent. But actually it looks kind of okay. I do really like how it's grey fur, the black, and then as it comes up into sort of her head and her skull and her ears, it's like quite a dark patch, because, again, that's what she's got, like quite bright fur, then this weird dark patch on her back, and then a darker patch on her head with her ears. So yeah, I quite like the layering and the depth and the colours on her face and her head. It's quite cool. Like, it looks alright for like a wolf in general, and it's got those little distinct Mabel markings that I like. My only issue with this section, and I guess my 2 issues with the model overall, is the divide between the black is just a straight line. There's not really any like blend in. And what I also would have liked to have done is kind of shift it up a little bit, so it ends here and here. I kind of just want to move up a little bit so it ends this section here, because this bit here is kind of like a face, right? So I feel like if it ended here, the line wouldn't be as bad, because it would kind of like be the distinction between the face and the body. So just a minor thing I'd like to add. Like I've said with a lot of the other stuff, this is like a Mabel thing, that she's got this weird black, darker section on the top at the bottom of her neck. So to be able to portray it in a wolf was quite cool. And then, yeah, similarly, the only thing I really don't like about the model is that. So, like, Mabel's got this little white triangle on her chest, and it's very, like, unique Mabel. Well, not unique, I'm sure loads of other Border Terriers have it. That's a very much a Mabel feature that me and my partner absolutely love about her, and it's a little white chest. And I was like, cool, I can't wait to do that. That'd be easy. I'll just put some white on its chest. And I think I've just put too much, like too thick of a paint or too much. So it's just like a white blob with no detail on it. Because if you look at the black and the white highlights on the top, when they focus, you can see like, oh, it's dark with some white highlights. You can make out the colours and the detail. Whereas that white chest is just a bit, it's like a big old splodge of white. So the detail's a bit meh, but luckily it's just an under section that you don't really see a lot. Like, you can kind of catch a glimpse of it, and I know what it is. Because at the end of the day, this whole model was pretty much just for me. Like a little personal project that I really enjoy. And then, yeah, similarly, like a little pink belly. Look at that, look at a little pink. She's got this proper little pink tummy. Like, if I move it over there, we go. You can try and put a picture in. Yeah, Mabel's got this proper little podgy pink tummy. So to be able to add it onto the wolf and actually kind of see it, like, it pokes out a little bit. It's quite funny. I like it, it's really cute. I'm not sure if it's something I would do in the future wolves, because, I don't know, they're meant to be like big, ferocious, and the pinkness is kind of a little bit like puppy, kind of almost like a puppy. But I like it, it's fun. Again, a little Mabel feature that I know. I see that and I'm like, oh, it's like a little pink podgy belly. And then the last sort of Mabel specific feature, I guess, is that stripe on her tail. She's got this black strip with some white hairs all around, so it's quite cool to add that. And the one thing I like about this is that it's just quite a cool marking. So like in the future when I do the other wolves, I won't really do them themed after like my dog. Again, I won't do like 3 Mabels. I'll just do like generic Fenrisian Wolves. But I do really like this kind of black strip. That adds something to the model that's quite cool. So like I might just use that as like a cool little marking. Maybe I'll put this on all of them just to be like my own personal little mark of these are my Fenrisian Wolves. This is the thing that I do with them. So yeah, I absolutely love all of the Mabel markings on them. I don't think any of them, other than the pink belly, really stand out as a like, oh, that's hideous. What is that? That doesn't fit at all. And that's only works because you know you've done that model after your dog. Like, I think overall you look at things like, oh, it's kind of a cool Fenrisian Wolf, a little bit quirky and different. And then once you find out, okay, or I tell you, or you watch the video, like, oh, I kind of tried to like mimic my dog's markings and my dog's patterns. Here's a picture of my dog. It kind of makes a little bit more sense. So yeah, the point I'm trying to get at is like, it looks okay as a wolf. Doesn't look horrendous. And it's kind of fun once you know the story behind it. There we have it. Our own little Fenrisian Mabel, just like you. Look at that. Do you know what? It turned out better than I expected. It was harder than I expected because, like I said, I always have these big ideas and I'm like, oh, it'll be really easy. I'll just put like the paint here, the paint there. I can like copy her little ears and like she's got these distinctive features. But then once it came down to getting the fur right and the shades and looking at her and the different colours, I was like, oh no, what have I done? This is hard. But you know what? It was all right. It turned out so much better than I thought and I'm really happy with it. Like, it's such a fun personal project. Not something I've ever done really before. Like, I've done little side projects like the Chaos Terminator I just did that are like separate from this whole Space Wolves box. But to have such a cool little personal project that's just for me was like, it was really fun. Like, it's so cool to look at on my shelf and be like, ah, yeah, it's like you. It's a little version of you. Do you know what? It's because you did so well on camera. Have a little treat. They say don't work with children or animals, but she was all right. But no, I really love all the little features, and the wolf was super fun to paint, and I love it. Like, it's really good. I'm really glad I did it. It's quite nice not having to worry about what does it look like on the tabletop or like taking it to a store. But I'd be interested to know what random people, even just viewers, think of it in general. Like, just as a Fenrisian Wolf, Mabel thing aside, it's quite interesting and quite fun. I'm keen to do the other Fenrisian Wolves as well, because like I mentioned, like Mabel aspects aside, the wolf was really fun to paint, and putting him next to the head taker looks really cool. Like, because obviously they go together. Like, it's a really cool little pairing, and yeah, they look great. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, drop us a like and subscribe, and tune in next time. Bye. You can say goodbye as well. Bye.